Good morning. We're live here at the home show, Kokomo Home Show in the Markland Mall. My name's Jason Hummerkaus, and I have my friend Deanna Ansel with us.
Good morning.
And thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. This is amazing.
So you have a booth right here. Deanna
Yes.
and the Kokomo Urban Outreach, as you can see on her T-shirt, is our, I want to say, maybe you can help me with the words here, but our sponsored non-for-profit. So
Yeah,
we've
there we go.
gifted them this booth space, and we're excited to see what this next 3 days can do for their non-for-profit. So let's dig into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I'm ready.
tell me a little bit about kind of how did Kokomo Urban Outreach start, and what is the mission of?
Okay. So Kokomo Urban Outreach actually started next January, will be our 20th anniversary. So the organization's been around 20 years.
Wow.
And then in 2016, after several years of doing a lot of good work in the community, we realized we were going to make the biggest impact on generational poverty in our community by starting with the kids. So the UP program was born in November of 2016. So we were about 8.5 years old.
Okay, 8.5. So 20 years now. The UP program's 8 years, but really kind of a reset, knowing that we need to reach them young.
Yes, exactly. So we developed the UP program, and we started that in November of 2016 with Man Up. And so a lot of people remember Man Up as the original starting point.
Yeah,
we started with boys. A few months later, we added the girls as Step Up for Girls. And then about 1.5 years later, we were having these two little boys like to sneak on the bus to go out, because you had to be 10 to be in the UP program.
Yeah.
Well, they snuck on the bus.
Love that.
And they would get to the job site and we're like, who are you? And where did you come from? And we're like, wait a minute, how old are you?
Yeah.
And so he said, I'm 10. He goes, no, he's not. He's 7.5, his little buddy told him, that ratted him out. But we realized that younger kids were wanting to work too.
Yeah.
And so we started them with Mini Up. So that started a couple of years later. So since then, we've been going full steam. So we operate kids from 3 to 18.
Jumping on the bus to do good, to work. They wanted to work. I love that in a young kid. And recently I had a young kid help me do some cleaning on one of our work vans, and I talked to his dad just recently. He's like, thank you so much for having us do that. But so I love these kids. So how many kids are in the program?
Right now, currently between Mini Up and our UP program, we have about 300 kids currently.
Okay, 300 kids.
300.
That's incredible.
Yes.
How many volunteers does it take to run that?
Well, there's quite a few. We have 10 staff, 3 are part-time, but then we do have other volunteers. Our Mini Up night, we have about a dozen plus volunteers, because when the younger they are, the more people it takes to wrangle them in different spots.
Yeah.
But we do have volunteers that work throughout the day, that do a lot of behind the scenes. Then we have volunteers that go with the staff to go out onto work sites and to jobs in the different work initiatives that we offer.
So they're more than just the 10, and you can jump in and do a little bit here, a little bit there. I know that my business partner, Jason Finney, I've been able to be in for, I think, what you call a huddle.
Yes.
And that's on is that every day after school?
It's every Wednesday after school at 4 o'clock, and that is where we bring all the older UP kids all together for one big meeting. This last 2 nights ago, we had 133 kids in the gym.
Wow. So let me pause you just for a second. The huddle is such a neat time, because those young kids, like, they're just learning to sit still and listen and pay attention, all of the things that you would dream to happen, and they do, and they're very intentional, they're very engaged, and I love that. And they're thinking, right? You can see their brains just thinking. So Deanna, what is the goal? I know what I wanted to say, and he just snuck in. Jason Finney, come see me.
Hi.
Jason Finney, this is my business partner, Jason Finney.
Hi, how are you?
Good,
Dan, are we good in this shot? Can you see us? Can you see Jason?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jason has a dream, not dream, it's coming more and more real every day.
Yeah.
He has come in, and I'm putting him on the line right now.
Oh, okay. This is live. Yes.
This is live on the line.
Live on the line. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I think you volunteered in the past.
I did the mentor program at the schools.
Okay.
And I think that was through one of your programs, maybe, or one of the other ones in
Yeah,
Kokomo.
one of the
Early
ones in Kokomo.
programs, maybe.
Yeah.
But he's talked a lot and told me, he's like, man, when I retire from the firehouse.
Yes, which just happened.
It just
Yeah,
happened.
all right.
You just went from 10 volunteers to 11
There we go.
volunteers.
Yes,
Right.
and trust me, there is no lack of work for you to do, so I can keep you as busy as you want.
Well, he does have 3 kids of his own, and he has to teach them still to sit still. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But no, so you have 300 kids. You need lots of volunteers, and this is a space that even this weekend where people can come say, "Hey, I want to be part of something."
Yes.
And so they can come and sign up to do a short-term thing, a long-term thing. Maybe a mentor program. Is there a mentor program?
That's what we do. That's what we do all the time. We mentor, whether it's in huddle, whether it's on the job site, whether it's tutoring, whether it's helping with homework, whether it's sitting with a kiddo on Wednesday after huddle when they're all just hanging around. Some kids just want somebody to listen and talk to them and not be their parent, not be their teacher, but just another adult that they can open up to and get some advice. Or just somebody just to say, because some of our kids, as soon as you sit down to say something, they're an open book. So, and some people we all want to belong. And so we all want to be welcomed and friendly. And so we just need people just to do that.
Just to listen.
Just to listen, just to hang out with them, play basketball, work out in the workout room, play a musical instrument with them.
Well, if you can't play basketball anymore, at least you can rebound.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. There's.
That's me. You said that for me.
I tried to play once against a couple of kids, and I was like, oh, this was dumb. But that's just not my forte anymore.
It'd be an incredible listening ear.
Yes.
So your goal is how many kids?
Well, over time, right now we're at 300, and we have received the gift of a new building. But there's a lot of work that has to be done and things before we're able to move. But over time, once we're able to move, our goal is to reach 1,000 kids in our community.
Wow.
And we believe we can do that really quickly because kids know about us. We don't recruit. We don't recruit. We had 5 new kids on Wednesday. And that's not uncommon. I remember the night we had 13 new kids.
Wow.
And they all came because friends told them to come. They said, you need to come with me. And they're proud because the kids are like, I brought a friend tonight. You know, they're excited, and they're excited to share what they're doing with someone else. And that's working, and that's making money, and that's learning how to be a self-reliant adult and being respectful, responsible, reliable, and ready. And that's the whole mission of our program, is to eventually change the face of generational poverty, because our kids that we're working with now are learning how to work, learning what's possible for their future, and then they'll be raising their kids that same way in the next 15 years.
Yeah, I preach that. Go ahead. That's awesome. That's great. So, 1,000 kids is your goal. Do you have a goal that you would state for volunteers? I mean, you have 300 and you have a lot of volunteers, and do you have an idea of what that number is for volunteers for 1,000?
I don't really. We don't really. We know it's going to be a lot. The new building will be really, really big. Our current building is about 10,000 square feet. We'll be adding 35,000 square feet.
Wow.
Which is a lot more rooms, a lot more locations. We don't even know quite yet. But some of our volunteers, they might come once a month. They might come a couple times a month. They might come and do one job once a week. So it's hard to say how many, because it depends on how involved you want to be. One of our volunteers, we had a kiddo that got expelled for the year from school. And so he hasn't been doing anything for a couple of months. So we are now getting ready to get him. She's now working with him every single day until the end of school to get him ready for the next year. She comes in every day. She does all the behind the scenes on what to work with him, how to read with him, what all those things are, to volunteer. And so she's an everyday volunteer, plus she does a million other things. But, something like that. So that's an extreme. But then again, we have a volunteer that comes in on Tuesday night and works in one of the mini-up classrooms for an hour. So we have everything possible.
So much intentionality goes into each specific kid. I love that. Tell me about you. We were talking a minute ago over here off stage about the preventative side of this, right? We can play this one or two ways. We can do a prevention side, or we can catch them on the back end. So paint the picture that you painted for me a minute ago about catching them at the end. What does that look like?
So kids are going to be kids. Kids are going to get into things. We're trying to teach them now how to become a self-reliant adult, which means they're going to be able to grow up. They're going to have a good job that's going to raise their family, whatever that looks like. So if we prevent them from going down hopefully into drugs, because they're making money and they can take care of themselves. Hopefully the fact that they don't go down into the homeless rank, or they don't go into the juvenile justice system. We can work with that. We also have a great relationship with all of the schools, the probation, lots of different places that we have built relationships with. But if we can prevent them going down some of those roads, then we're going to save the community money because they're not going into those locations. For instance, if a child is in the juvenile justice system for an entire year.
This number is incredible. Yeah. This is incredible. Go ahead.
This includes lawyer fees, the lawyers, the housing, all the people and all the stuff that goes into it. It is $98,000 for a year for a student.
That comes from the taxpayers. So that's coming out of the taxpayers' dollars. Okay, go ahead.
Homelessness, it's between 10 and 20,000 when you figure the assistance and things that go in. And these are not our numbers; these are numbers that we have researched and found. So there are lots of money that's spent. You know, you think about the recovery centers and those kind of things as well. There's a lot of money put into those centers as well, and they're needed for those that are suffering. We're trying to prevent the amount of need by working with kids at an early age. So if you spend $10,000, $20,000, $98,000 to invest in a kid in our program currently right now is $2,400. That's $200 a month, $50 a week.
We're talking $95,000 less. Yeah, I think it's a win.
Yes, we think so too.
We think it's a win.
We think
so. But those are big numbers, right?
Yes, those are big numbers.
When you start talking about it in general. So what are we going to do to earn $2,400 this weekend? Before we go there, tell me what are we going to do to earn and try to support, go from 300 kids to 1,000 kids? What are we going to do?
Absolutely. Well, we have several work initiatives, which I've talked about. Our most famous work initiative is our Spruce Up Specialists, which are the ones that go out and do yard cleanups all over the community. And that's where you see a lot of our kids. And we'll have phone calls and say, I just saw a bunch of kids in my neighbor's yard with red shirts on. I don't know who they are, but I need them because I need their help. Yeah. So we do out and do a lot of yard cleanups from March all the way through December until it snows or it freezes too much to rake leaves. So, and that is Indiana weather, and who knows. Right. So we have a good percentage of those kids that do that. We also have a build-up fabrication where it's a wood shop. It's also 3D printing, and then we're working and going into soldering, different pieces, plus into robotics. Yeah. Then we have our Up Creations, which this is one of the items that they just recently made. It's a little journal, and the kids get their freedom of expression to do this. It's a great Mother's Day gift. It's just a great gift for a child or just for yourself. To do that, we have a lot of different pieces that we do in Up Creations year-round, all the way from wreaths to we have Bible tassels that we bring out for your Bible. There's a lot of different things that they get to express their creative side, but also learn how to measure, attention to detail. You know, you have to pay attention and you have to do good work so that you're not wasting product, those kind of things. Right. And then we also have called What Up Dough. And What Up Dough is our baking aspect. And so we have noodles that are on sale for $6 a bag. And those are kind of the whiter noodles, and this is the thinner noodles. Both are fantastic, and we've had lots of rave reviews on them. Yeah. And then our What Up Dough cookies. We have a monster cookie and a snickerdoodle. All these are made with kids. We do have some guidance, obviously, with some adults, but they're all made by kids. Yeah. And so we have the work initiatives, as well as we also have our urban farm. Yeah. So we are teaching kids how to do farming. Yes. In a garden that we have next to one of our buildings, and we're raising vegetables for a local restaurant. Wow. So the restaurant is Yolanda's, so we are going to be raising the vegetables that they need for their restaurant, and then they're going to buy them from the kids, and the kids are going to get to go do delivery and support them as well. So they're learning, and my hope with that is that when the kids learn how to do the farming, they can learn how to grow their own vegetables when they get older. That's going to help provide for their family, possibly be a business for them. There's so many opportunities, or even go into an agriculture field. There's a lot of still agriculture fields that need, especially more specialized with technology and those kind of things. So again, we're just trying to open the eyes of the kids and share what they can do.
You know, I don't know if you know this about me, but I have all teenagers now. Well, actually I have some that are in their 20s, but when kids come to me, because I've worked with kids a lot, children's pastor, work with youth groups and different things, they'll ask you, like, they're trying to figure out, what am I going to do with my life? That's a big, scary question. I got 2 seniors graduating. What am I going to do? And I really try to, and I love that you guys are doing it where you're doing it, because I really think as early as you can start, get your hands doing different things. And my dad said to me, learn a trade,
Mm-hmm.
and go to college. And that's what I did as a painter, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Learned a trade of paint,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's plumbing or electrical or becoming a baker, learning to, and these kids measuring, I love that,
Mm-hmm.
listening to that, that
Mm-hmm.
specific measuring and
Mm-hmm.
doing all of those things. But learn a trade and go to college
Mm-hmm.
is I think was great counsel for me
Mm-hmm.
specifically, and it's not for everybody.
Right, right.
But if a kid can do that. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that you guys are starting young, and then kids get out, get your hands dirty, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Wash a car,
Yes. Uh-huh.
right?
Yes.
Rake a yard,
Yes.
mow a yard, push a mower, and I'm guilty because I
Mm-hmm.
like my lines straight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Deanna, I forgot to start the clock. Dan, how
I
are
was
we
gonna
doing?
say, yeah,
How
I
are
have
we
no
doing?
idea.
We got about
Okay.
5 minutes. Okay.
I was like, I have no idea.
One thing I want to highlight, Mr. Finney, thanks for going and getting us. We have these at our booth right here next to the Kokomo Urban Outreach booth. And one of the things we're going to do is I'm asking each vendor that's part of the show to participate in donating somehow.
Wonderful. Oh, this is such a blessing. Thank you.
As we interview them here, they'll be live and on the spot and say, hey, what can you do for Kokomo Urban Outreach, the UP program? But what Heritage is going to do is we're going to give $50. If you come to the show and you get you get signed up for an estimate, we're going to give you a paint can. You're going to take that home, and when the estimator shows up and you accept that quote, we will take that can back, but we're going to donate. We're going to take $50 off of your estimate, and we're going to donate that to Kokomo Urban Outreach.
That's amazing.
So, our goal, honestly, is 90 estimates this show that turn into quotes, that turn into acceptances. And what's 90 times 50? Who's my math person? Jason Finney. $4,500.
Yeah.
I would love to, at the end of this show, be able to hand you $4,500.
I would
Honestly,
sponsor almost two kids. Almost two kids.
Yeah, that would be
for
awesome.
The entire year.
Yeah.
For the entire year
Yeah.
of
and
building into them.
If we get that close, I'm going to round it up to 48.
Okay.
Because that would get us two kids.
Two kids, yes.
I don't want to do 1 3/4.
Yeah,
that would be painful.
Okay, yeah.
So, but that's what our plan is, and so we're excited to have you. Please come see Deanna and her team.
Mm-hmm.
Will we have any kids here this weekend?
We're working on getting that going this weekend. They're still in school right now, and then they go out to work tonight. So Saturday and Sunday, the kids don't work outside. So hopefully we're going to grab some kids and get them here this weekend as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me. When I first did my tour at the Kokomo Urban Outreach program, talk to me. There's a statement that I heard from my friend and our friend Sherry Rayo, and the statement was, "Nothing is given, everything is earned." And so that philosophy is what's bred into these kids.
Yep.
And so, tell me maybe a story of a kid where they've captured that.
So we don't give anything away free. They earn points. Each point equates to $1. And so they can use those points in numerous ways through our store. They can go in and purchase a coat. They can purchase a bike. They can purchase shoes. They can purchase clothes, hygiene, food, snacks, everything that they would need, they can purchase with their points. Many will purchase gift cards and help to pay bills for their family, help buy groceries, pay their own cell phone bill, numerous things. And I can remember last spring break, every kid gets to work extra because they're off on school. And so the more we give them to do, the better. And she was just turning 10. And she went in and picked out clothes for her entire family with the money that she had earned. She was able to go in and I would say, what are all those clothes? Well, this is for my sister and this is for my younger brother, and I'm buying deodorant for my dad, and I'm doing, this is a little kiddo that's just turning 10 years old and already realizing that I'm working, so now I can help supply these things to my family. Nothing is free. Because and that's what it is in real life. Nothing is free. And we know that what we're doing is making an impact because we have kids depending on us every single day.
I love that success story. So, Deanna, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So. Good morning. We're back here at the Markland Mall in Kokomo and the Kokomo Home Show here, and I've got my friend Gordon with Grow with Gordon.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. So tell me about your, how did this Grow with Gordon, and what is Grow with Gordon?
It started actually about 7 years ago when I moved here. I'd gotten out of the military, was going to school, had to pick a major, and IUK had one called sustainability. I slowly got into gardening. That was a hobby or a passion for about 3 years, and then for the last 2 years, we've been in full-time business.
Oh, wow. So you took a hobby and made it a business.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love that. And just that initiative and that entrepreneurship. And so, but what is it? What do you do?
Well, the main thing is for me, I'm just trying to get as much food grown in as many yards as possible.
Okay.
Especially in cities. We recently teamed up with the City Refuge Garden, and they're doing a lot of different, they have 2 locations on the north side, and it's a community garden for the north side because it's a complete food desert up there.
Okay. So this makes me think of a time my wife and I, we went to Mexico one time, and at this restaurant, they had, we're like in the city, Tijuana, and so there's no space.
Right.
But on top of the roof, lots of sun, lots of, and rain and stuff, they were growing in pots their food that they were serving in the restaurant. But you do this for people. You help them get started, you educate them?
Yes, for sure. We've tried to spread out our programs as much as possible. Like for the home show, we brought we call it a squirrel-proof raised garden bed.
Okay.
So it's all fenced in, and we also customize it on the bottom so you can bow next to it. We also brought one of our food oasis packages,
right?
And we just wheeled that in here. I was thinking about bringing a string, like tying a string, and like bringing it up to the booth, but you don't have room for it. But yeah, we just try to make it as easy and simple as possible. That even the garden oasis is $450. You get a mature fruit tree, 2 berry bushes. You get ground covered strawberries. If you want to put in some walking onions, you can do all that. It takes up really not much more space than this, maybe twice the area.
Yeah.
And we're in and out in a couple hours.
Yep.
And it's perfect. It provides enough food for a couple of people, at least to augment.
Yep.
You get fresh fruit, fresh vegetables.
And the cost of things going up, this makes it very appealing. And you can do this in very tight spaces.
Right. We tried to, because we're trying to not only break the barrier of being used to going to the supermarket or a restaurant for your food and just walking out in your backyard and getting it. So we're like, well, we got to do a return on investment. So we're thinking about a single little pruned apple tree can produce 150 apples.
Yeah.
That's 45 pounds worth 140 a year.
Yeah.
So within, like that garden oasis, you'll return your money within that next year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like the only investment that doubles consistently.
Right. And so that's so neat. And so when we were talking about this early on, when you first signed up to be here, you were talking about like replacing maybe your, what's a good bush?
Just boxwoods.
Boxwood, right? Nobody likes boxwoods. I can't stand boxwoods. They're awful, ugly. I don't know. But you replace the boxwoods with...
If you get a wintergreen bush, it looks the same, but it has berries you can eat.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So your ideal client, who would be a good client for you?
Anybody with 5 square foot of space.
Yep.
That's all the way up to, we do larger things, and we do have a couple of our larger maps, because we do full design, and there's a 20-page data table we'll fill out. We'll do a whole ecosystem repair program. Like we work with IUK right now, and I just completed a project that was like 30 acres. So the range is there.
Wow.
But we want to make sure that's why we signed up for the home show.
Right.
That's where we want the biggest.
So if you were to, and maybe you have a mission statement, if you were to put that into one sentence, what is your mission?
To get food to everybody.
To get food to everybody.
Yeah, that's just what I came up with right now.
And honestly, we just had Deanna with the Urban Outreach Kokomo, the UP program, and sometimes those kids, they just don't have it. But they're learning to work with their hands, and that would be a great program, just to say, hey, this is how they do it, and they're doing those things. But some homes, they don't have the funding to do that, but they can do a little bit start, and get things going.
For sure.
And they can work with you. So
yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to talk with them because, like I said, we just recently partnered with the Refuge Community Garden, and that's a huge part of their thing is education. They want the younger kids out there working in the soil, growing vegetables. So I'm sure there's something that we could work out there for sure.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. So, so tell us, you have how do people get a hold of you if they want to utilize your services? If they don't make it to the show, how do they get a hold of you?
The website is Grow with Gordon.
Okay.
The easiest thing. We also have a YouTube website where I fumble around with a computer and plants.
Yeah. Fun.
So
you can watch them do that. Yeah,
for sure. And we have Instagram. I think I signed up for X the other day.
Yeah.
So we get all the social medias.
Is there a phone number that they should call?
I would, yes, 765 because we're in Kokomo, 416-1357.
416-1357. Obviously, Kokomo base 765.
Please leave a message or voicemail because there's so many spammers.
Yeah.
I keep calling them back, and it's always the same. I'm like, oh, I thought it was a customer.
Well, maybe a spammer needs to plant something. Maybe they would get over that. Let's do something
maybe
different.
I could. Yeah, maybe I'll just sales pitch.
Yeah, sales pitch back to them. Oh, I love that.
Do you like apples? Yes. Oh, actually, I do. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to have their booth right down here. You're across from what store in the mall? You're on the south side.
Yep.
Down here.
I think it's next to Journeys.
Journeys, yeah. So come see the team here. We Grow with Gordon and learn how they can participate and help you get more food on your property. You have maybe a smaller zero lot line. I know a lot of homes in different communities have a tight. So how do I get food? How they kind of at some point you're like, I can't do a garden because I don't have this acreage, right? But that's not necessarily always true.
Yeah, and all of our fruit trees are this tall. So
yeah,
if you have that much space, you can do anything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, appreciate you being here, and thanks so much.
Yep, thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.